And hey, everyone, it's Evan Kirstel with another fantastic opportunity to learn more about the world of enterprise tech and data science, and more. Today, I have a really fantastic guest from Talend who have does really interesting work in the area of data. And we all know that without healthy data, every decision is at risk. We're a data-driven society. We're becoming data-driven enterprises, even data-driven individuals. So I think we should have a really interesting chat with Jamie Fiorda of Talend. But before we jump into some of those themes, maybe you could introduce yourself, Jamie, and your role and what you do exactly.
Yeah, so thanks, Evan, and glad to meet everyone. My name is Jamie Fiorda. I'm the Vice President of Product Marketing at Talend. I joined nearly a year ago now. I spent some time at Salesforce for 5 years before this and 8 years at Microsoft before that. One of the reasons that I'm so excited about being at Talend is because we have a unique perspective on where the market is going and where it needs to go. So I think we're going to dive into that a little bit during our talk today.
Yeah, and to set the scene, you had a really interesting event a few weeks back, your annual customer and industry event, Talent Connect. Tell us, while that's still top of mind, what were some of the outcomes and insights, top one, two, three kind of observations from the event that are still you're still thinking about?
So it's our annual customer conference. We use it as a way to just kind of discuss the latest trends in data management with our customers. And really, what we want to do with the conference is have a dialogue with the attendees about how to get more value out of their data. We had thousands of attendees that included our existing customer base, prospects, partners like Accenture and Snowflake, and we had others that presented on behalf of the industry, I think, as a whole, not necessarily on behalf of Talend. It was more about learning and conveying ideas. So industry luminaries like Stuart Bond from IDC and Randy Bean from New Vantage Partners presented, and we had a large number of customers actually talk about their experiences, the challenges that they faced, and how they overcame them. So folks like David Malloy, the Executive Director of Global Consumer Data at Estee Lauder, and the Chief Data Officer at the Hartford, and the Head of Enterprise Data at Petronas, and a number of others. So in terms of the types of dialogues we had, that was one thing that really stood out. I think the other thing that really stood out is the fact that a lot of data leaders are struggling with new challenges with the advent of all the security and privacy issues that they need to manage within the company, while also driving business performance at basically every edge of the businesses they support. So it's kind of a counterintuitive balance that data professionals need to address today, and we had lots of really good discussions about that.
That's fantastic. And one of the big themes that I took away that was really eye-opening was looking at the business value in data through achieving data health, and this notion of healthy data, which kind of resonates. I do a lot of work in the health IT and health tech world as a content creator and influencer, and this by no means came to the fore during the pandemic as we began to really dive into the data to understand the COVID-19 pandemic, but it goes beyond healthcare. So what is healthy data? How do we achieve it?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. So the pandemic exacerbated the focus and need for businesses to lean into their data. Every business needed to change in some fashion or form in order to adapt to the changing conditions in which they operated. Customers were changing, the way they purchased changed, the way businesses supported them needed to change as well. And that just drove an enormous amount of innovation that needed to happen very, very quickly. And organizations realized that data was one of the most obvious keys to making any process work. So it's been exacerbated. But even before the pandemic, we were witnessing a world where there were billions of dollars being spent on digital transformation. And we had seen in things like moving to the cloud and analytics and AI and machine learning, business process automation, the different types of cloud applications that were needed to just help businesses operate in a more modern way. But the reality is a lot of the companies that have made those investments are still just realizing a fraction of the success of those investments. And we see that continually. We saw it before the pandemic. We certainly see it now that we're, well into it. And we at Talent, we believe those investments are critical. We're not questioning that a business should invest in anything to modernize, but we do need to question why is the benefit not being realized. And we fundamentally believe that there's something missing in the middle between those applications and the outcomes that are expected. And that is at the heart of what we're realizing. We're validating it with our customers, we're validating it with the market, with the research we're doing. And ultimately, what we're finding is that business users, consumers, in data producers are in a situation where they're simply not trusting their data. And I think it's probably not a foreign concept to anybody listening to this call, but our focus is wholly on how do we fill that gap between those investments that are being made and helping businesses drive business outcomes with healthy data.
That's interesting. So as a leader of a IT group or a data science manager or even a line of business leader, you mentioned trust, which, gosh, if you can't trust your data, what can you trust? But how do you know you've achieved this sort of healthy data status, and how do you sort of verify that if you're used to being just a spreadsheet jockey? What's involved in this process of moving towards healthy data?
Yeah. So the first order is defining what is data health, and to us, it means how well a company's data is supporting its business objectives and ensuring that the business has a comprehensive system in place to ensure the well-being of all the data in an organization. And if an organization finds themselves in that situation, they'll know because their employees will be able to make decisions confidently, and they'll be able to look at different data sets and the data they work with and immediately get a sense for the health of that data. Can they trust it? And there's a number of ways, a number of constructs that will become more commonplace as time goes on, so that the average citizen user, as well as the data professional, can make those judgment calls very quickly and keep moving quickly with the work that they need to get done. That will continue to evolve over time, and this idea of constructs will evolve so that data leaders will be able to kind of look at the data and the organizations in which they're charged supporting. So, like a data leader, like say a chief data officer, a data architect might be charged with supporting a certain number of departments: marketing, sales, human resources, finance. And right now, it's very difficult to understand what is the quality of the data sets, what is the trust level of the data sets, what's the general health of those data sets across each individual department. And furthermore, where should the people resources and the dollar resources be invested to ensure that the data health for the most important data is managed appropriately? So from a data leader perspective, having that ability to understand data health, make resource decisions, make changes on the fly, and be adaptable to business need is one indication of being able to of having data health. If you work your way through the organization, there's different types of people that are involved, and of course, there's always going to be data engineers and data architects and other folks that are going to look at data health in perhaps a little bit of a different way. And they're still going to need to be agile. They're going to need to have a high degree of connectivity, and they're going to have a high degree of trust in the data as well. So the way they look at it might be a little bit differently than a data leader will, but a healthy organization will be able to deliver the right tools, the right constructs, the right visualizations, and the right level of control across the entire business, so that everybody has that sense of that their data is healthy.
That's fantastic. I really like this Venn diagram kind of on talend.com, showing you at the intersection of, data integration, application and API integration, and data integrity and governance. And you talk even about a trust score. So there's actually, you can benchmark where you are. Is that right?
That's right. That's one of the, I guess in the last year, we came out with the trust score. That is one of the constructs that I mentioned. It's a first level weight for data consumers to basically get a sense for how trustworthy is the data that they're working with, based upon not just quality metrics that are traditional, but subjective metrics based on things like peer reviews. Do the people that understand the data the best validate that these data sets are of high quality, and things of that nature, so that as data proliferates throughout an organization, it's easier and more trustworthy for more people to use. And again, in the spirit of driving business agility and speed.
Fascinating. And, in terms of where you guys are investing and in what products, we're not going to do a deep dive into your product suite, but just give the viewers and listeners a feel for, the architecture and where you're putting your, pretty extensive R&D efforts.
Yeah, so we're focusing on 5 areas that we believe are really important for the data management platform of the future. The first one is kind of a non-negotiable. It's just continuing to provide excellence in data quality and data trust. Everything is based upon the quality and trust of data, decisions, processes, and we're going to continue to invest heavily in ensure that our customers receive high degrees of quality and trust. The second area is this idea around governance and control. Of course, data is proliferating, volumes of data are continuing to increase, the sources are increasing, the use cases where data is needed across different departments is increasing, which is creating additional demands upon the data teams to kind of keep up with the number of requests and tickets and everything else they need to manage. And it's just really important that data leaders have the ability to ensure that internal policies are adhered to, in addition to the external regulations that every business is subject to. So having those levels of control while enabling the business to continue to be agile and fast is super important. So we're putting a lot of focus into that. The third area.
Yeah, never been more important time for regulation and compliance. It's such an important challenge to overcome these days.
Yeah, agreed. Intelligent services is the third area. And again, because those data sources are continuing to increase and all the requests are increasing, really those are increasing at an exponential rate. But, is any data team really increasing at that same rate? I'd find it hard to find, any organization that would say, yeah, like our data team is growing linearly with the rate of, demand that we're having.
If you can find people, it's another
right.
outcome of the pandemic, sadly.
Yeah. So what we need to do is we need to continue investing in intelligent automation, things like AI and machine learning, and a lot of other interesting technologies that are coming out to not only identify problems but automatically apply fixes and create resolution, and help teams get more done faster through automated techniques. So intelligent services is the third one. The fourth one is all about really sharing data and making sure that people within an organization can share the insights, share the data appropriately. And of course, this is very closely related to the governance and control element, because you can't allow anyone to just share data freely, but you do need to ensure that data can get to the right people and the processes, and to drive the business forward in the most appropriate way. And that actually is very much related to the last one, which is about self-service. Self-service has a lot to do with the user experience. It also has a lot to do with governance and control as well, because the individuals that are accessing data need to be able to understand the data in the context in which their skill set can consume. They need to be able to offload the data teams that are already overloaded so they can get the lower value tasks done on their own. So anyway, this combination of 5 investment areas are really important to Talend and how we view what we need to do to build the data platform of the future.
Fantastic. I'm at an event this week focused on customer experience and related areas, and it's clear that building experiences that matter and that are elegant and delight customers requires just a ton of data, and you can't build a creative and innovative customer experience, let's say for e-commerce or online sales shopping, without that prerequisite healthy data. So pretty fascinating. Now, when it comes to the product, we're not going to go too deep into this, but you guys had a big release this fall, and that was kind of a leap forward in many ways. Maybe you can give us some insight into what was in that release, what's new and exciting.
Yeah, so this is a really exciting release for us because, as I mentioned, we have a vision for what we need to produce for the future. We know we need to build upon this market leading platform that we already have in place. But this release is all about strengthening building the platform of the future while ensuring that our existing customers that use Talend every day realize value immediately as well. So it's kind of that balance between building for the future and delivering immediate value for our existing customers. There's 3 areas that we prioritized investment in. The first one was in scaling data excellence, and we did so by introducing a new service, and this is a true subscription services-based service, not a product-based service, around data quality. And what we're doing is we're enabling companies that don't have the time, the resource, but they do have the need to have more data quality with the data sets that they work with, to work with Talend and our professional services organization to basically implement Talend, ensure that data quality is being delivered within the business units and the line of business areas and wherever it might need to be improved. And we provide reports and analytics so that our customers can get insights into the health of their data. So that's a really exciting one. So our customers will be able to scale data excellence even without the ability to invest in software or people resources.
Interesting.
The second area is helping our customers work smarter. And one of those ways is, one of my favorite ways, is that we now have the trust score that we discussed earlier native inside of Snowflake. So it gets calculated inside of Snowflake, and it makes it a lot easier for our customers to basically move faster, move data less, and essentially get work done where they're already working. So that relationship with Snowflake is continuing to evolve, and it's a pretty exciting innovation for us that we were proud to announce in fall 21. We also announced Stitch Unlimited pricing. So with Stitch Unlimited pricing, it enables customers that are essentially, it's typically data analysts and business analysts that are on the front lines. They're ingesting data into tools or systems like Snowflake or AWS or Databricks or what have you. And a lot of the tools that are on the market today have a consumption-based pricing model. And what we're doing is we're basically eliminating the consumption-based pricing model because we believe that companies that want to work with their data shouldn't be taxed for doing the work that they work with us for. So we're trying to remove that data tax. And so we've basically introduced unlimited users, integrations, and more. And it's just an interesting and exciting opportunity for companies that are working with, that have a large number of users, have a large amount of data, have a large number of integrations. So that's working smarter.
Yeah, that's going to be great for multi-cloud environments where you're integrating with multiple clouds, and gosh, a lot of the big tech giants are quite pricey and inflexible when it comes to that kind of thing. So sounds like a great differentiator.
Yeah, in terms of multi-cloud and multiple, well, you said multi-cloud, but we introduced a capability in fall 21 as well around multiple destinations. So for organizations that need to move data into multiple environments, suppose it's a staging and production environment, two different environments, the Stitch Unlimited licensing model allows for that up to 5 different destinations. So, so some pretty cool innovations there behind the scenes as well. And then the last pillar is all about accelerating our data professional productivity. And one of the neatest capabilities that we have is self-service data APIs. Really excited about that, where organizations or, especially citizens users would need to log a ticket and get a developer to craft an API. It might take days or weeks. Now with a few clicks and a few minutes, the API is automatically generated in a industry compliant sort of way, industry standards based sort of way, where it's very easy then to share data sets with other systems. So no longer is a developer needed. People can move more quickly, and it's just an exciting capability we introduced. And then we have a whole host of other talent platform enhancements in terms of improving the speed and the flexibility of Talent Studio 8. There's a bunch of Talent Data Catalog 8 enhancements that came out, and a number of other things. So overall, it's a really big release, and we're just really excited to bring it to market.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations. It's been a huge year, a huge fall for you guys, and no rest for the weary as you go into the next quarter. What are you most excited about as we get into the new year?
Yeah, so we're bringing out more of the data health vision that I talked about. I talked a little bit about this notion of having constructs so that data leaders and data producers and data users can have this an increased understandability of the data in which they work and where they need to focus, so that they can all move faster. And we'll be introducing new capabilities in as early as spring 22, which is our next release.
Fantastic. Well, really nice chatting. Thanks for the update, and congratulations on all the success. And to infinity and beyond, as Buzz Lightyear says. So
That's right.
Great catching up, and we'll look forward to your tweets and posts and updates over the months and weeks. Thanks so much, Jamie, for joining me.
Yeah, Evan, it was great. Thank you for having me.
Take care. Bye-bye, everyone.